We recording? All right, everybody. Welcome back to Top 5 Everything, Volume 27. I mean, here at Top 5 Everything, we're all about covering the hard topics, saying the things that you want to say. That's why this week we're calling out the top 5 worst kids of all time. It's about time we show these little shits who's boss. This week, we were lucky enough to be joined by prolific kid hater, Mr. Joe Hunter, and rehabilitated former kid himself, Mr. Ian Brooks. Gentlemen, is there anything you want to say before we begin our podcast, or you just want to jump right into it?
Thanks for having me. We can jump in.
All right.
Yeah, fire away.
All right. Well, you guys know how we do it here. So we're going to go to our first guest, Mr. Joe Hunter, with his number 5 worst kid of all time.
Yeah, so for my number 5, I'm going the kid from The Sixth Sense as my number 5 pick. It's kind of a downer, the whole movie, like just always upset. Like you look at him, didn't seem like he had a lot of friends. Well, you see dead people, like you got new friends there, and he didn't seem too happy about that. I don't know, man. Like didn't tell us what was going on with Bruce Willis the whole time. Kind of screwed him over at the end. Just let him on there. Could have just told him that. So I'm going Sixth Sense kid as my number 5 pick.
All right, fair. Haley Joel Osment. That's
so.
our friend's name.
I think so.
Kind of a pussy a little bit. Like that. Where he whispers, I see dead people like that. The way he said that just makes me cringe. So I do feel that like that. I've always hated the way he said that. I don't like when people whisper on camera. It just makes me feel weird. I do believe he did get some high acclaim for that role, though. So while maybe a bad character, I think he did a pretty good job acting. But yeah, kind of good point. Kind of rude of him not to tell Bruce he was dead. So if anybody hasn't seen the movie, he's dead.
After you already told everybody.
Yeah, he's dead. He's dead. So, all right. Good job, Joe.
Thanks, man.
Really to saw
this movie.
Yeah, dude, I hate it.
Yeah, I haven't seen this movie because I heard about what happened, and I'm like, well, I'm not gonna watch that joint. If I already know it, the ending, I'm like, well, that kind of ruins. Like I didn't watch the Titanic. It's like we all know what happens, baby. This ship goes down. Something like that. It doesn't like all this. There's not all of a sudden like flotation devices that saves everybody. So anyway, yeah, I don't know about this. With someone pass.
I mean, I'll go ahead and agree with that just to see what he became. I mean, it's when you take a child actor and then see them as an adult, it's fucking freaky.
Yeah,
I mean, he looks like Ian Brooks if Ian Brooks ate Ian Brooks. Like he looks like Ian Brooks 100 pounds heavier.
His eyes are so close together too.
Yeah,
they are.
He had Ian's bowl cut haircut in that movie. He's pretty much Ian Brooks, just unhealthy. And that's cool.
Yeah.
So, no, I'll go ahead and agree with that pick.
All right.
Ian, your number 5?
Yeah, my number 5. I'm gonna give it a spin trying to share my screen. One moment, please.
Oh. We got it, baby.
So for my number 5 pick, Michael Oliver, aka Junior from Problem Child. I mean, this kid was so fucking bad that he gave me a lot of movies you guys know gave me nightmares as a young child. I was kind of a wuss, but like he was just so bad. He tortured his grandfather. He lit people on fire. He tortured cats. I mean, my parents didn't even want me to watch this movie. I'd have to watch it at like Conus's house. But problem child, he was problem in the first one. He was a problem in the second one. He's just a bad little bitch. He's a bad kid. So that's my number 5 pick.
Bro, I mean, this is a fantastic start. I hope you don't have any passwords on there. But the legit, I mean, I think this is who I was thinking about when I chose my number 5, and I chose the wrong person, because this is actually the person I think I was trying to have on my list. This kid gives me anxiety. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That movie gave me anxiety. I didn't even know what anxiety was at the time.
Yeah.
But I'm like, yo, this shit makes me nervous as fuck. What is this kid doing, son? Like, that movie had me tripping. I could not agree. I agree. 11 out of 10. This kid is. I mean, he could. I mean, easily be number 1. I mean, now that I think about it, he should be up the list a little bit. I mean, I disrespected this little bit bastard.
Yeah. I may have mixed up my order, but it doesn't matter. We'll go with it.
He's the worst.
Well, this is a great way to start. This movie freaked the fuck out of me too. Like, I couldn't watch it. This was worse than horror movies. This kid freaked the fuck out of me with his stupid bow tie, his fucking nasally voice, and his stupid red hair. I mean, I fucking hated this kid. I hated this movie. Way to start it off, Ian.
Thank you. I don't know how much I'm sharing with you on my screen right now, but
you can exit. We all got it.
All right. You saw everything? Like anything?
No, we just saw a very tiny pixel of them.
Oh, well, on my screen it was massive, so sorry.
Joe, any thoughts?
I hope that termination letter you had set up was okay for you in your folder there. At the same time, I think it's a real good pick. I saw that movie so long ago, so I vaguely remember it, but like, he was a problem child, and I didn't like him. So I like your pick.
Thank you. I'm not getting fired. That was just a job that we got fired on. So don't worry.
Happens, man. Sometimes you got to get fired. Sometimes you got to fire people.
So they're actually called termination letters, but we resigned. So don't worry about it.
Exactly. All right, I'm going to move into my number 5, who I think is I got confused here. Problem child, but it's Dennis the Menace, because now I'm thinking like, man, he's just, you know, the PG version of Problem Child, and I feel like I let the group down. So I'm not even. What do you think? What do you think, Ryan?
I think it's a good pick. I mean, this guy was the 1960s fucking junior problem child.
True, man. Leave the poor guy alone, man. He's just trying to be fucking retired, for goodness sake.
I mean, Mr. Wilson, he just tortured that guy over and over again. So I'll go ahead and agree with the pick. I like it.
Did you ever notice that Mr. Wilson never showed his face fully on TV again? In Home Improvement, he only showed his eye above his, you know what I mean? That's all because of Dennis the Menace. Fucked up. Joe, what do you think?
It's a good pick. I was thinking about putting Dennis the Menace on my list as well. Just gave a bad name to all the blonde-haired kids out there. That's why I lost my hair, because of that guy. I don't want to be associated with him, so good pick.
Dan, I like where your head's at too. I mean, that's a pretty quintessential bad kid, you know, definition bad kid. You may have been aiming for the remake of it, which was a 1993 movie. According to my brain. And he was a little bit worse in that one. I bet he was pretty tame in that picture you put up. But you know what I remember from that movie? Remember he ate beans out of a can from like the homeless guy?
That's Billy Madison.
Yes.
No, not Billy Madison. No, whatever. I do remember that movie.
Well, who was Mr. Wilson? Wasn't it? It was that famous dude, right?
Yeah, who was in like Two Grumpy Old Men.
Man, yeah.
Walter Matthau.
Well, yeah, exactly. Joe,
That's it.
on point, son.
Good pick, Dan. I mean, obviously, I agree. I agree with that. Dennis the Menace is a menace. He's a bad kid.
All right. Well, I'm going to get into my number 5, and it might be kind of a surprise pick because people will know more as an adult. But I'm going to go with my number 5 as Freddie Freeman as a kid. I mean, who would have thought one of the best baseball players of all time was just a total asshole child? I mean, he had this little brother, Kevin. He was always picking on him. He was always giving him sick burns, calling him things like trout sniffer and cheese face. I mean, he gives hardworking bellmen wads of chewing gum as tips. Dude ate an entire cheese pizza to himself, leaving none for Andy at Martin's bachelor party. I mean, it's no wonder this guy got COVID. He seems like a nose breather. So, Freddie Freeman, my number 5.
Joe?
Is it me? Yeah. Also, good pick. I was thinking about putting Buzz on mine as well. I never liked that guy, and Freddie Freeman always torches the Nats, so I don't like him either. So I think it's an overall great pick.
Now we're saying Buzz is Freddie Freeman.
Same person.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, Buzz was a complete asshole. I mean, he was just a bully. His girlfriend was ugly, according to Kevin. And he just, like, I mean, he was just definition bully. Like, bad. No one wants a bully. I agree. Good pick.
Yeah, I'm going to have to push back here. You know, I mean, you look at that, all the fucking nonsense that was happening in that house. I mean, you got to fend for yourself. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, motherfucker's got a spider he's got to feed. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to lie, man. Kevin is, I mean, he's annoying as shit, yo. I mean, that little fucker, and he's, I mean, he's a huge, like, addict and stuff as an adult, and he's still terrible. You know what I mean? So, I think Buzz had the right thing going. Buzz went from, you know, collecting spiders, eating whole pizzas. That y'all, he used that to build strength to hit home runs, obviously. And we got Macaulay Culkin literally just doing, you know, cocaine off of strippers' asses. And I would rather have party with
Or
Freddie.
Michael Jackson.
Exactly. Even
Yep.
worse.
Yep.
So I'm gonna have to push back on Buzz. Sorry, guy.
There was a little bit too much of a love fest in here. You can push back. Good one, Dan.
Yeah.
Well played.
Well, all right, that gets us into the second round. Joe, you want to start us off with your number 4?
Yeah. So for my number 4, let me see if this works. Is that populating there?
Oh yeah.
AJ Soprano. This kid was just as soft as it comes. They basically put him on the show because he was like a little short, chubby kid, to say he's like Tony Soprano's kid. Then he grew up to be like 5'2", even though Tony's like, I don't know, 6'3". So that didn't work out. Just really soft. Was never able to become the next head of the family. Even when you thought he was going to turn the corner, just never could. Always complained about everything. Everything handed to him, and pretty much annoying for all 8 seasons. Don't like this kid. Just terrible character all around. He's a terrible kid.
Yeah, I'm sort of torn here because he wasn't bad, you know, per se, like, because he just didn't have it in him, right? Like you're saying, I agree. He was a little too soft. He was definitely soft. So he wasn't bad from that standpoint. He's bad because he was the worst character on the show. So I agree. I don't know which approach you were taking, but he's pretty bad. I did think about putting him on here, and then I was like, he's not bad enough. What did he even do? He got kicked out of school or something, or like wore goth one time? Like he's not that bad. That's what I got.
I mean, I think it's also hard when you got such a hot sister, you know what I mean, to just live life. You know what I mean? He's just in the shadow the whole time. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, that's Tony Soprano's daughter. And like, oh, I didn't even know. And he's like, that's his son. It's like, I didn't know he had a son.
You watched the whole show. You didn't know?
I didn't even know. I was like, until he lit like a SUV on fire. I was like, that's Tony's son. Like, what?
Oh, yeah, that's
I wasn't even
right.
paying attention. I got popcorn during his scenes. Ryan?
I didn't really watch The Sopranos, so I'm just gonna judge by that picture alone, and I'm gonna disagree with Joe because that kid seems pretty cool. He had the same exact chain that Chip Beamer wore for 3 years straight when he was a kid, through 6th grade through 8th grade. He had the same haircut as Johnny Lappin, Justin Lappin, DJ Zito. All rock that haircuts, all great kids. So he's probably pretty cool. So I'm gonna disagree with Joe. Ian?
Fair. All right. Let's try this again so everybody can see all my shit. Nope. I'm really bad at this. Well, my second pick is Kid Rock. I had a really trashy picture of him, but I can't seem to find it. So, God damn it. How do you work this thing? So that's what I'm going with. Kid Rock. I really can't stand the guy. I think he's got one song that I like, and it's a remake. I don't find him talented. His political views clash with mine. He just, he opened at a rally for Trump. I mean, there you go. Thank you. I mean, I don't know. I use Teams every day. I don't know why I can't do this right now. But yeah, I just don't like the guy, and he sucks at golf, and he thinks he's good. So I'm not a big Kid Rock fan. Gotta go.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I rocked with The Rock for about a year. Definitely saw him in concert. It was, I mean, the performance was pretty solid. Not gonna lie. I mean, he could definitely get drunk and do whatever he has to do to get out on stage and perform. He definitely switched gears a bit and kind of went like country or something, and then rock. I mean, it was a little whack. But that one album he had wasn't terrible. So I'm not gonna. I mean, but I mean, the fact that he just likes Trump is just. I would assume at this point it's just embarrassing for him that he admitted it in public. So for that, he definitely gets a knock. But I'll still maybe I'll throw that on while we're down at the beach. My name is Kurt.
Ian, I love this pick. Love thinking outside the box. I mean, Kid Rock started off as like a rapper coming out of Detroit, and then Vanilla Ice ruined rapping for white rappers for the next 15 years. So like he tried to do rap, he sucked. He tried to do rock, he sucked. He tried to do country, he sucked. He's taking it all and just fucking sucking at all of them. I mean, he banged out Pamela Anderson, who looks sticky. So that's gross too. So this is a fantastic pick, Ian. Love thinking outside the box.
Thank you.
Yeah, also agree. This is a great pick. I remember when he like first came about and he was like rapping, but his name was Kid Rock, and I was so confused because I was like, "Why is your name Kid Rock and you're rapping?" Like I didn't get it, and I never thought it was that good. I still don't think he's that good. So
Get
I
ready
love
for it, Joe.
What was that?
My personal, I'm rocking it this weekend. You better be ready for it.
I'm fine with that.
I'm gonna request it. All right, I'm gonna roll into my number 4. You guys, my list really starts to get good now. Sorry about that. First one was a little bump in the road. But this guy right here, this kid right here. All right, I don't know if you see him.
Malcolm?
Dude, what? This guy literally, he ruined.
Freddie Monzo?
Yeah, he ruined. Can you see him?
Yeah.
He ruined Bryan Cranston for me. You know what I mean? Like, what the hell, bro? You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't even watch Breaking Bad, because every time I fucking see the show, I'm like, this little motherfucker comes in my head. And second of all, like, no one wants to know what your thoughts are, motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like, I got to deal with my own shit when I'm that age. You know what I mean? Like, you know how fast my brain's moving? Like, I got my own thoughts to worry about. I don't need to hear your shit too, man. You know what I mean? It's like, hop up off it. God, just pissed me off. It ruined a lot of shit for me. Thanks a lot, kid.
You know, I like the pick. You know, I like the pick because, you know, after this show, he went on to go to West Virginia and room with me my freshman year of college. Because I don't know if you remember Danny, but I roomed with a kid who looked exactly like Malcolm in the Middle. So Martin and Danny always just call him Malcolm in the Middle. And this guy puked all over our room like 15 different times. We had to throw out all of our trash cans just because he puked on them. He puked on the table one time, then woke up the next morning and was like, did someone spill soup? I'm like, no, asshole, you puked on the table. Fucking clean it up.
Smell it, man. Does it smell like soup?
He's the only person I've ever seen get kicked out of Club Z. He got the bouncers literally grabbed him by both arms and picked him up and just carried him out. So Malcolm in the Middle is definitely a great pick in my book.
Joe?
Great pick. Malcolm in the Middle, I think, is actually a little overrated. The best character was like the youngest kid by far, who just like ran everything. Yeah, I don't know why he was kind of a big deal. I like the pick.
I don't know. I really don't have much to say on this pick. I didn't watch the show. I do remember his voice being pretty annoying. Wasn't he also like 30 years old but looked like he was a kid? What the hell is that?
What is that?
What the fuck is that?
What he look at?
I don't know how to stop Am I presenting still? I don't know.
Oh, I thought you were like trying. I thought you were trying to make like an argument for him by showing me those pictures. I gotta pass on that one, Dan, just because I don't know.
That's my
enough
next pick, baby.
whatever that is.
And he started racing cars, and he crashed his car so many times he doesn't even remember being on the show. So he doesn't even remember being a kid anymore.
Fucking
fair.
It's ECT or whatever from like football players get. They don't fucking. He's crazy now.
Yeah. All right. Well,
so many concussions.
That's gonna get me into my number 4, with definitely one of the biggest piece of shits throughout literature of all time, and I'm going with the kid from The Giving Tree. I mean, this book is proof that shitty children become shitty adults. I mean, this kid took everything from the tree, who was supposed to be his best friend. He took all of his apples to try to sell to get money. He took his branches to build a house. He took his trunk to build a boat. And after, he was always after all this material shit, and he just ended up some, miserable old piece of shit who just came and sat on the trunk. You know who had a happy life? The tree, because he had a purpose in his life to give to others. So fuck you, kid from The Giving Tree. You're a terrible kid.
I don't remember it. I'm pretty sure when I was younger.
I just told you the whole story.
Yeah, I know. Like
it's 13 pages long, Joe.
Wait, did it have any pictures? Because I definitely didn't read that thing either.
I don't remember it, but I trust Ryan, which means that I agree with this one. Yeah.
Thanks, Joe.
Yeah, and this is a great pick, Rye. Not only can you identify bad characters, as you are a children's novel author yourself.
That's right.
It's a great sort of outside the box thing. I didn't even think about that. The kid just did that tree dirty whole life, didn't look back, and yeah, I mean, what was the message of that book? help people out and get taken advantage of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, fuck that kid.
I don't know, man. I'm gonna have to. I hate to be the sore thumb of this episode, but I'm gonna have to disagree. I mean, all those things to me sounded pretty damn resourceful, if you ask me. I mean, he's feeding
moral.
himself. The dude's selling. He's probably selling the trees. Tree is tree. You know what I mean? He's out there hustling. He's building himself a house. I mean, I don't know if I've ever. I didn't read this book either, so it's not just you. This isn't right up my alley, but you hating on someone for being resourceful. Guess what, man? We all end up old and angry. You know what I'm saying? That's how life is. You're gonna be old and angry someday. I mean, that's like me now. I mean, I'm close to that. And if I could cut a tree down and build a house, I would start doing it tomorrow. There'd be no more trees in my backyard. So I disagree. I mean, this kid sounds hella resourceful. That's all I gotta say.
All right. Joe, you want to take us to your number 3?
Yeah, so my number 3. Let me see, is it populating?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. Brandon Stark. I don't know if that's working there. So Brandon Stark from Game of Thrones. Spoiler alert for anybody out there or you guys, because I'm about to give away the ending on there. So he was pretty miserable like the whole series on there, and then kind of the ending, like why him? Like literally there's no reason for him to be chosen at the end. Like he didn't even want the job. That's like the whole thing made no sense. He was just once again just kind of like my Sixth Sense kid, just kind of like a downer the whole time. Like, never a guy that's going to be like uplifting or, you want to hang out with. I like those types of people. Like, it's why I get along with all you guys. Like, hey, good times. Like, not this kid. It was always just negativity all the time. I don't care if he had good reasons for it, man. I don't need the negativity all the time. So, Brandon Stark, number 3.
All right. I see where you're coming from. He did get thrown out of a window. So, he's allowed to have some animosity towards the world. He also, I guess, saw everything, right? So that could put you in a bad spot. I think he had good intentions, though. I'm going to have to disagree with you. Maybe not the best character from that show, but I'd have to disagree. I don't think he's a bad guy, personally.
I think everyone calls me Danny Downer. I don't know what you're talking about uplifting everybody, man. I don't know what you're talking about on that note.
Me.
Yeah, I've never seen that show. Yeah, I mean, no like, Sophie only let me watch about 15 minutes of it, and then everyone started talking about it so much that I'm like, man, I ain't gonna watch this shit. It's kind of like same thing with the Sixth Sense. Like, nah. So I can't even talk on it. Ryan?
Joe, great pick. This kid was a stupid penis. I mean, there's a reason he got pushed out of a window by the best character in the show, Jaime Lannister. I mean, and what'd he do after getting pushed out of the window? He had some guy carry him around for 8 seasons long. Like, what a fucking asshole this kid is. They couldn't do anything where they could build him a wheelchair or something. They didn't have wheels or anything. They had Hodor carry him for 8 seasons. Total dick. Good pick.
Thank you.
Fair. All right. This is my 3rd pick, correct?
That is it.
My 3rd pick. I'm going pretty broad here. My 3rd pick, bad kids. Any kids that bite or scratch, just in general. I think it's a very with someone with a 10-month-old baby. Like, I'm probably jinxing myself, but you can't have a kid that bites or scratches. It just can't happen. I mean, I got nothing else to say. It's a real turn off for me. Don't bite or scratch, kids. You're bad kids.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you at all, but I mean,
Good luck. for
You're
me.
about to run into this You're about to run into this shit in like the next year, son. 2 and 3 year olds, they be doing that. There's gonna be like at least half the kids in their class
I know.
are gonna do. I think like Thea only had like one incident where she kind of like, and she was younger. We were lucky, you know what I mean? Like I'm not saying, because trust me, she got a lot of other flaws like her pops, but she did not bite or scratch people. So I get it though. I get that. I get that I understand it for sure, because that's just one is just like I kind of feel bad for the parents a little bit too, because I mean it's like it's a hard to like it's a hard habit to break, but those are the kids that are like, all right, you got to keep them separate, them sleep like at daycare and shit. So I definitely agree there. Ryan,
I gotta totally disagree with this. Those kids are just being resourceful, as Danny would say. I mean, I grew up with Danny in my house, who was always way bigger than me, so I could do nothing to fight back except bite or scratch. That was my only tools to get out of whenever we got in any physical confrontation.
Head pressure.
And it fucking, yeah, and it made me who I am today. Don't get in a fight with me today, because I'll fucking bite you. I'll bite your fucking ear off. I'll kick the balls. I'll do anything.
I'll bite your balls off.
I'll rip your fucking balls off, man.
You ain't having kids. First.
So, it's dirty, but dirty doesn't lose fights a lot. So I'm disagreeing.
Profound.
They fear that kid.
I will also disagree. I agree with Ryan, and everything he said is just getting the job done, baby. I mean, hey, compete. All right, we're out here giving participation trophies. This kid's out here winning. Okay, I like that kid.
All right, I'm gonna roll into my number 3, who I've already shared a picture of this person. There they are. Look, I mean, I know I don't got a lot of parents, or there's only one other parent on this, and they have a younger kid. Y'all, if you don't, y'all will know these. This is fucking Madison and Trinity. All right, these kids, god damn son, they fucking pissed me off. They got their own YouTube channel. All right, and all they do is go around and like open new shit that people send from them. And like Madison had her own channel for a while called Madison Beyond. And then they had to add this other chick who just completely made everything that much worse. And all I hear all the fucking time is Madison Beyond, yeah. And then they do these fucking challenges and 24. I mean, the fucking craziness that these children make me have to deal with is just embarrassing. I mean, they're probably multimillionaires at this point as well, because they get all my money for all this stupid shit that they create. But yeah, if you don't know about them now, man, you will. And if there's any parents watching this, they're gonna be like, yeah, that shit's the worst. Madison Beyond, Madison Trinity, my number 3, baby. Terrible. Just depresses me.
This is a great pick. I mean, those kids were actually standing on other kids in that ball pit. That's why there's no more balls at Chuck E. Cheese anymore. It's because these Madison and Trinity kids, they fucking ruined it by smothering other kids. I don't know who the fuck these kids are, so I don't know.
That was good though.
I'll agree. I don't know who these kids are at all. This is literally the first time I've ever heard of them. Like I thought you were gonna, like when I saw the picture, I thought you were gonna talk about like a type of kid, not like actually those 2 kids. But I'll agree, because I'm generally against all YouTube personalities. I find them kind of annoying, so I'll agree.
The worst.
Yeah, I gotta agree with that. I mean, if they're not bad to watch, they're bad kids in general, just because they're stars and they're 8 or 6 or 5, however old they are. Yeah, they're bad. It's a lock. They're bad.
It's a different generation. It's a different generation of kid stars now, man.
Is that real green hair? What do we got going on there?
No, this is fake, but I don't know, man. They're terrible.
But they might be so bad that they can demand green hair at 5, and they get it. I'm out on them. 100% terrible, and they probably ruin your life. I'm sorry.
It's terrible. hope it's probably gonna be Trinity and whoever the next version is for you. By the time B's like Trinity, Madison, because Trinity will probably be in college. So
I mean, all they do is get toys for free.
yeah, and then
They're
do
bound. They're
stupid
destined
challenges.
for being bad.
Yeah.
I feel you. Good pick.
All right. Well, I picked. My last pick was somebody no one knew. So this pick definitely everybody is gonna know. And I'm going with my number 3 pick is Tuxie, the baby penguin from Mario 64. I mean, you take the best, level in one of the best games of all time and ruin it with this fucking annoying crying baby penguin. I mean, little known fact, they actually took that soundbite of him crying from LeBron James crying over getting fouled. I mean, the only good thing about this kid was being able to drop him off the side of the mountain, but then you never got the star from returning him to his mom. I mean, the whole point was you're trying to return him to his mom, and he keeps running away. And what's the fun of child abduction if it's difficult? So,
Jesus.
Tuxie is definitely my number 3 worst kid.
I don't know how I follow that. If I remember correctly, that specific level was extremely difficult with that tiny penguin. So for that reason, and the nightmares that I still have of trying to complete that level, I'm going to agree with you.
All right. I loved the story. I'm gonna have to disagree because I don't know who the fuck that is. And dude, I never played it. My only connection was watching you play it, and knowing me, I probably fell asleep by the time you got to that level, or 100% I was asleep by then. I don't know who the fuck that is. So unfortunately,
Yeah, I'm gonna roll with Ian on this one. It looks like some kind of 3D Mario. They made 3D Mario. What? I thought those things were like you bumped your head on a coin or some shit. Like I don't know. I mean, I've played some of the newer ones, but yeah, I don't. I mean, obviously, I wasn't good enough at that game to even know to return the penguin. So, I can rock with it if it makes you that angry, Ryan. I'm with you. Fuck that.
Danny, you were literally playing Mario 64 and you screamed, "I know this level like the back of my fucking nutsack." Do you not remember that happening?
That doesn't sound like me at all.
Yeah, it might.
I don't know what you're talking about.
All right, Joe. A lot of hate on my list this week. You want to get us into your number 2?
Yes. Let me. It populates. I don't know if it will, but all right. So my number 2, I'm going back to the game of terrible kids, and I'm going with Joffrey Baratheon from Game of Thrones. Never really seen a kid in a movie or a show that everybody like. Usually you want the kid to like shut up or go home or just get off the screen. Like people literally wanted him to die. And in the way that it happened, I think people actually wanted it to be worse with as bad as it was on the show. Terrible human being. Honestly, I'm pretty sure that people actually hate the actor to this day because of how awful that kid was. So I'm going with Joffrey Baratheon / Lannister.
I feel you, Joe. That's a good pick. He was a pretty shitty kid. Cringeworthy. Maybe like a newer age junior from Problem Child, like just a bad-hearted little prick that was unanimously hated by anyone that watched that show. Terrible guy. Great pick.
I thought he was a little bit misunderstood. It was kind of messed up, some of the stuff that they did to him. And, to be honest with you, if he wasn't on the first 15 minutes of the first episode, I had no idea who he is. So I was, Disagree, man. I mean, this kid for me just had this. I think really, if you look back, he just had some hard knock. It was hard knock life. Ryan need a little bit of sloppy. So, I'm gonna have to pass to Ryan on that.
I'm gonna have to disagree hard on this. I loved Joffrey. He was the second best character on that show. I love Joffrey. That fucking show started to suck ass once he got killed off. It really went downhill once he left. I was not interested in it anymore. Joffrey was awesome. So, gonna have to disagree, Joe.
All right. Let's see if I can do this again. Hold on. No, I don't know how big this picture is. And this isn't. What did I do?
Nothing.
You haven't opened it yet. It's still small.
God damn it. I don't know what.
The head's pretty big on it, though, for some reason.
So Connor Beamer is my fourth worst child. He was a bad kid. I mean, he's grown into a good guy, a great human being. He's a fine adult, but he was a bad kid. I mean, he got in fights a lot. He was a bully on the basketball court. He stole a Honda sign off of a car and wore it around his neck for too many years. And he just didn't want to do his homework ever. But, now he's an inspiring teacher. But as a kid, he's a bad kid. Just plain and simple.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and agree because I'm gonna just include my number 2 as well, and I don't even have to put someone's picture up because my number 2 is me, man. I was a terrible kid, so that's why Connor and I are such good friends, because he was terrible as well. You know what I mean? So I was like, we could always one up each other. I was like when I was young, I had some health issues, so I don't even blame my parents. They were just trying to make up for some of the stuff that I missed or whatever. But I milked that shit way too long. And I also I didn't do any homework either. Like I felt bad. Like Ryan, I feel like did all this homework and stuff. I never did homework either. You know what I mean? And now we're paying for it as adults. Now me and him really have to step our game up as adults, and we've been paying for it ever since. You know what I mean? Like we've really been trying to make it up to society, and we really still need to make it up to society. That's why I coach. I think that's why Connor's a teacher, because we were fucked up kids. Yeah, we gotta stand our ground. We have to help out somewhere because we feel bad that we were terrible people. And now hopefully we're decent people when we get back to society a little bit, But yeah, I mean that's a great number 2 because I am my own number 2. And yeah, I was a terrible kid. So Connor, I love you, bro.
Same.
I'll go ahead and agree with this pick because these two gentlemen fucking terrorized me as a child. These fucking assholes would fill up water balloons with hot water so they couldn't break and just hit the shit out of me and Chip with them. I remember they tried to put ice down my pants when I was sleeping one time, and I grabbed it and threw it at Danny and hit him in the nuts. I also want to mention that when Connor was a kid, when he was a teenager, he was turning 16, and he kept referring to his birthday party as a sweet 16. So I just want everybody listening to that to be aware of that Connor did in fact have a sweet 16 party for himself.
And he wanted to get a DJ set up for a sweet 16.
He did want to get turntables at one point too.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with this as well. Make it a clean.
Oh, we were boys.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna agree with this as well. I don't even know I'm going to the beach this weekend or his wedding or anything. I don't even like the guy. I'm gonna be miserable just because it's for him at the beach. It's just because I hate myself and no other reason. I just agree with everything that's been said.
All right. Well, that was pretty unanimous. Now for my number 2, let's take a trip back in time. The day is October 9th, 1996. It's the American League Championship Series between the New York Yankees and the Baltimore Orioles. Orioles are up 4-3 when another huge piece of shit, Derek Jeter, hits a ball to right field. Right fielder Tony Two-Step Tarasco was going to make a routine catch when Jeffrey Meyer reached into the field of play and grabs a live ball, both of which should have been called spectator interference. The stupid umpire calls it a home run, winning the game and ultimately the series for the Yankees. This moment ruined sports for me forever, and it's all because of this stupid piece of shit right here.
I think this is an outstanding pick. I remember watching that game, and when that happened, like how furious everybody was. I mean, who knows if Johnny Lappin has written him a couple of death threats out there throughout his life. I think the kid ended up being like a D3 baseball player eventually. I think I heard that somewhere. But yeah, man, he pretty much started the Yankees dynasty. I think that like they ended up winning their like first World Series in a while, and they were really good. It's all because of him.
Yeah.
So I agree with the pick.
Yeah, complete piece of shit. Like the fact that you thought you could do that, and like I blame his parents too.
Kid was probably a biter.
Kid was probably a biter. Yep. Scratched. Probably was on a leash at some point. Just a bad, like, poor decision making. Like, ruined sports. I forgot how big of a deal that was. That was insane. And that recap, Ryan, was holy shit. That was good.
Thanks.
So bad kid, Myers. I agree.
Is his name Jeffrey Mayer?
Mayer.
Mayor Meyer.
So here's the thing. I think that you overlook it a little bit because you don't think about it, but like that like fucked up the Orioles franchise for a long time. I mean, like they're like a smaller market team. That was like an opportunity for them to like make a run, and like that was when they had like Alomar and stuff was on the team, right? And was that like Palmeiro,
Anderson?
I think, and like that was like when they were like making a run, like and that after that year, it kind of like fell apart, and they had to kind of break up that team because they couldn't afford it, and then everyone in Baltimore became even more bitter than they are in general, and that's really bitter. It's funny how bitter just Baltimore people are, and Orioles fans just epitomize it, and that's really where it comes from. Is that moment? I feel like, especially like the Orioles, the fans that are like our generation. I mean, like the Andy Vogels of the world. You know what I mean? Those are like the ones that like that. It hurt, man. You know what I mean? That still affects them as people to this day. So yeah, fuck that kid, man. So fuck it.
All right, Joseph, you want to take us off to your number one worst kid of all time?
All right, number one worst kid of all time. This kid right here, which is me around the end of 8th grade. All right. I mean, look at this kid. All right, that's a tan Yankees hat. There's no reason for me to be wearing that tan Yankees hat. I've got a white beater on. Way too many of those around that time. I thought I was really cool because I was like the top athlete at Holy Redeemer, like me and Martin. Like that's the greatest thing in the world. And then I quickly got a reality check once I played summer league ball at DeMatha for JV and just realized that everybody else was in another league. Needed that, but in general, this time frame for this kid, he's kind of a scumbag.
Joe, I'm gonna have to disagree, man. I'm not gonna let you shit on young, hopeful, happy Joe Hunter who thought the world was at his fingertips. I just won't allow that to happen. I didn't know you then. I probably think you're a great kid. I don't know why you had a tan Yankees hat on. That is true. And wife beaters didn't stop there for you. So, yeah, I can't say you're a bad kid. I disagree.
Yeah, man, I disagree as well. I know that I knew you well back then, but you had hair. You're looking, life was on, you're like reading the box scores
An
with your
insane shoulder muscle
you're-
back then too.
yeah, and
By
you
the way.
like reading to your sister, you know what I'm saying? Those are like moments that you'll never get back, man. You know what I'm saying? Those are things you build life on, man. I disagree. It looks like you're one hell of a solid brother to be, spending time with your little sister like that. So stop shitting on yourself, man. You're not Danny John.
Yeah. This is an all-time worst pick on the show. Joe
Worst
Hunter's always been an upstanding gentleman, a scholar, even before he was a DeMatha boy. I mean, he was always studious, smart, good brother, good kid.
Good
Exactly the
friend.
kind of kid you want to have. I mean, this Joe Hunter guy is always telling me fucking, like, he's telling stories to me, Martin, Chip Beamer. He's like, oh man, you remember how crazy I used to be? I was like, come on. Look at the three fucking people you're talking about. He's like, oh, we used to do stupid shit. I was like, you used to do stupid shit. Well, get out of here, Joe. Joe's a solid guy, always was. Great kid, great gentleman.
Terrible pick.
Terrible pick.
The Yankees had some forgivable though.
All right.
I had a Yankees hat at some point.
I probably did too. All right.
You have one right now. You're in.
No, nonsense. All right. My number one worst children are Lyle and Eric Menendez, who absolutely, world beater, top, most famous child murderers of their parents, for their money. So, how could you get much worse as a kid than murdering your parents to get their money? I mean, I got nothing else to say about it. They're bad boys. That's it.
I mean, great pick. I mean, we needed the pickup after Joe's himself. The Melendez brothers definitely takes it to another level. The whole thing to another level. I mean, Jesus Christ, who? I mean, yeah, seriously, I don't care how old you are. Like, who thinks of that? Like, I mean, like, you could be 5 years old. I mean, like, you really gonna? I mean, like, the craziest shit in the world, and you're gonna kill your parents? Like, Lord, it makes you wonder about life sometimes, man. Like, you just sit back and shake your head and be like, fuck, I better not have a gun in my house or something crazy pops off, or I mean, who knows? I mean, it just makes you think, man. I don't know. That shit is insanity. So, good pick.
Yeah, Ian. Good pick. Really, positive way to end the show.
Yeah.
So I'll go ahead and say yes. 2 children who killed their parents is a good pick of a bad child. So yes, good pick, Ian.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, it sounds like this is supposed to be like your number 5 pick, but it's a pretty awesome number 1 pick.
I told you I had to kind of mess with my stuff.
Yeah, that was a really good number 1 pick. I mean, I agree. That was a solid pick.
All right, let me get into mine. It's definitely not nearly as serious here, but this little bastard is giving a bad name to big people everywhere. That's right. You're looking at Augustus Gloop from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, or Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Either one. I mean, let's be serious, man. Just bad look for big guys or big kids in general. I mean, what's up with the Where's Waldo shit, motherfucker? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, pop off that shirt, you know what I mean? Both actors by the name of Philip Whitegaratz and Michael Bolner, fuck both y'all for playing the role. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all didn't have to take that part and fucking feed into the fucking bullshit. You know what I'm saying? This is how sizism begins, yo. Y'all start sizism with this shit, all right? Fuck you. You're lucky you got sucked up in the chocolate factory, because if I would have got to your ass, it would have been way worse. Fuck you. Fuck you, Clark. I'm out.
I'm going to go ahead and disagree. I think he's a good kid, just wrong place, wrong time. I mean, he just went a little too far into that chocolate fountain, got sucked in. I mean, who wouldn't want to jump in a chocolate fountain, no matter what your size is? So
You get sucked into the brown hole, baby. You never know where you go.
Joe, any thoughts?
I've never seen it. I don't know who that kid is, but if Danny's got a problem with him, I got a problem with him. I agree.
Well
Lucky
said.
Gerald Green's not a kid.
Well said. Yeah, Dan, I'll probably agree. He was a little bit of a spoiled brat. He was eating when nobody, they said don't touch. He touched. He's a bad kid.
Yeah.
Doesn't listen to directions. Deserved to get lost in the brown.
That's right.
Yep.
I do it.
I agree, Dan. Bad kid.
You messed up. Son.
All around bad kid.
All right, well, that's going to take us into our last pick of the night, my number 1 pick. And this is definitely a kid we've all had a bone to pick with at some point in our life. And yes, of course, I'm talking about Mr. Eric Walakonis. The year was 1993. A young Ryan John, Jeffrey Stillwell, Stephen Bradford, and Ian Brooks were over at Eric's house playing hide and seek. Robin Walakonis walks out with a full tray of Dunkaroos and hugs fruit barrels, announcing snack time. Eric was it and insisted we play one more round and told everyone to go hide. While everyone was hiding, this son of a bitch ate 5 packs of Dunkaroos and drank 3 hugs, leaving 2 hugs to be split between 4 people, and it was the grape flavor, which is the worst. So I'll never forget it, and I'll never forgive him. Eric Walakonis, number 1 worst kid.
I will have to. I'll have to agree with this. I moved from PA back into Maryland, into the Annapolis area, literally the same complex as Eric Walakonis. And he came over to my place and said, "Joe, I don't like you." And then he moved out 3 months later. That's exactly how it happened. It's 100%. There's no other story except for the one that I just told you of what occurred there. And then he left. So he basically left me here. And, he also left Danny and Johnny, who are also in Annapolis. So, yeah, I agree with the pick.
By nature, he was a good kid, but I got to agree with the pick. I mean, he stole our Dunkaroos. He stole our hugs. He lied to us and would tell us he had to clean his hamster cage when the thing was dead. It wasn't even alive anymore, but he would lie to us. As a young kid, he would lie to his friends just so he didn't have to play with them. And I don't appreciate it, and I won't forgive, and I won't forget either. So, good pick.
What was with the pick on the far end? Is that John?
Yeah.
That picture?
Who was that monster of a human?
It was Conis being a little kid.
Who was draping his arm around him?
I don't know.
You made that?
I don't know who that. At first I thought it was John Emmett, but then I'm like, hold on, that's not Ghost Mojo, is it? Conis. I mean, look, he had to get the hurt pressure. He had to learn. You know what I'm saying? Like he had the adults wrapped around his little finger. Like, he's like, oh, I'm just a little guy. Like, I can never get in trouble. And then he's out there instigating, starting fights. Connor got stabbed in the neck with a wine bottle or wine glass because of Conis, basically. You know what I mean? Conis started that fight and tried to punch a guy that had no right punching. We didn't even punch him. He just kind of went at him, and then the guy knocked him out or knocked him over. Yeah, man, I'll have to agree. His whole life, just everyone loves that guy and don't know the demon side of him.
All right, guys. Well, I think that's gonna wrap us up for volume 27 of Top 5 Everything. Ian, Joe, thank you so much for coming back to the podcast.
Awesome.
There has been a lot of requests to have you both return for the Top 5 Everything Topless special. So I hope you both can come back for that. And guys, that's going to do us for volume 27. We'll see everybody again in volume 28.
Whoop, whoop.
See you guys.
Later, boys.